All right, it's your host, the Wizard of Oz, or you can call me the Wizard on the Wall. We've elevated ourselves. We've been exalted and exhorted. So, called us from Wall Wars, episode 17. What do we call this one? Promises, covenants, and other things. Let's start off at Proverbs 14. This is the other things portion of our selection for today. Every wise woman buildeth her house, but the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. He that walketh in his uprightness feareth the Lord, but he that is perverse in his ways despiseth him. In the mouth of the foolish is a rod of pride, but the lips of the wise shall preserve them. When no oxen are, the crib is clean, but much increase is by the strength of the ox. A faithful witness will not lie, but a false witness will utter lies. A scorner seeketh wisdom, and findeth it not, but knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. Repeat that one. A scorner seeketh wisdom, and findeth it not. Because it's not pure in his heart. He's not trying to find the truth to find the truth. He's looking for something. But knowledge is easy unto him that understandeth. Because with understanding you have peace. Go from the presence of a foolish man when thou perceivest not in him the lips of knowledge. Because knowledge plus wisdom equals understanding. And guess what's next? The wisdom of the prudent is to understand his way, but the folly of fools is deceit. So liars lie. Winners win, losers lose, and truth tellers tell the truth. Fools make a mock at sin, but among the righteous there is favor. The heart knoweth his own bitterness, and a stranger doth not intermeddle with his joy. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, but the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. And we know that sin, the wages of sin are death. Even in laughter, the heart is sorrowful, and the end of that mirth is heaviness. The backslider in heart shall be filled with his own ways, and a good man shall be satisfied from himself. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. A wise man feareth and departeth from evil. So depart from your evil ways. Right? But the fool rageth and is confident. He rages on. He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, so simple-mindedness, foolishness. But the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow before the good, and the wicked at the gates of the righteous. The poor is hated even of his own neighbor, but the rich hath many friends. He that despiseth his neighbor sinneth, but he that hath mercy on the poor, happy is he. Do they not err that devise evil? But mercy and truth shall be to them that devise good. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. Now we have to deviate. Extreme poverty, destitution. He died in a state of virtual penury. So like my boy Nikola Tesla. In all labor there is profit, but the talk of the lips tendeth only to penury. So the money talk, BS walk. That's what Saul Brown always told me. The crown of the wise is their riches, but the foolishness of fools is folly. So when you bearing fruit and you know something, they tell you knowledge is power. The people with the knowledge have the power, but the fools only have folly. So they run in their mouth. That's all they got. Talkers talk, doers do. Thinkers think. A true witness delivereth souls. So that's what Sister Carol used to do. Because we passed the witch on the wall thing now. So that's what Sister Carol used to do. She talked about winning souls for the Lord. But a deceitful witness speaketh lies. They bear false witness, a false prophet. And the fear of the Lord is strong confidence, and his children shall have a place of refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, to depart from the snares of death. In the multitude of peoples is the king's honor, but in the want of people is the destruction of the prince. So people hating. Look at LeBron James now. His prince, so to speak, since he's heralded as King James. People hate the progeny and the lineage. People have envy and want their sons and their own selves to be in glorious positions and to be heralded, to be held on high, to be exalted. He that is slow to wrath is of great understanding, because it takes patience to sit and understand and to not be drawn out. But he that is hasty of spirit exalteth folly. A sound heart is the life of the flesh, but envy the rottenness of the bones. We always do this. Envy, wrath, pride, lust, sloth, greed, and gluttony. He that oppresseth the poor reproacheth his maker. Don't meet your maker. But he that honoreth him hath mercy on the poor. The wicked is driven away in his wickedness, but the righteous hath hope in his death. Wisdom resteth in the heart of him that hath understanding, but that which is in the midst of fools is made known. Righteousness exalteth a nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And that's on the side of the All Nations Mission. The king's favor is toward a wise servant, but his wrath is against him that causeth shame. So now, we'll go to, what is a prophet? A person regarded as an inspired teacher or proclaimer of the will of God. The English word prophet is the transliteration of a compound Greek word derived from pro, before or toward, and facing, to tell. Thus, prophetess is someone who conveys messages from the divine to humans, including occasionally foretelling future events. In a different interpretation, it means advocate or speaker. It is used to translate the Hebrew word navi, like a navigator. In the Septuagint, in the Arabic word nabi, W.F. Albright points to the Akkadian nabu for the origin of these Hebrew, the navi, and the Arabic nabi words. The Akkadian nabu means announcer or authorized person, someone that speaks from a position of authority, derived from the Semitic root nby or nb. It is cognate with classical Syriac, nebiah, nabi, or nabi, all meaning prophet. In Hebrew, the word navi, spokesperson, traditionally translates as prophet. The second subdivision of the Tanakh, Navim, like, cherubim, seraphim, opening, is devoted to the Hebrew prophets. The meaning of Navi is perhaps described in Deuteronomy 18:18, where God said, "And I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak unto them all that I shall command him." Thus, a Navi was thought to be the mouth of God, a speaker. A Jewish tradition was that the root Nun Bet Aleph, Navi, is based on the two-letter root Nun Bet, which denotes hollowness or openness. To receive the transcendental wisdom, one must make oneself open. Let's list off the prophets of Christianity. Ahijah, Anna, Agabus, Asaph, Azariah, Daniel, David, Deborah, Elijah, Eber, Elisha, Enoch, Ezekiel, Gad, Gideon, Hanani, Hoda, Iddo, Isaac, Isaiah, Jacob, Jehu, Jeremiah, Jethro, John the Baptist, John of Patmos, Joshua, Judas, Barsabbas, Job, Lamech, father of Noah, Lucius of Cyrene, Lot, Menahem, Melchizedek, Micaiah, Miriam, okay, Micaiah is also known as Micah, the author of the book of Micah. He is considered one of the 12 minor prophets. So I'll touch on that as well. And Micaiah is one of the 4 disciples of Elijah. I like it. Miriam, Moses, Nathan, Noah, Oded, twice. Philip the evangelist, Philip's daughters, Paul the apostle, Samuel, Shemaiah, Silas, Simeon, Niger, 2 witnesses from the book of Revelation, Revelation 11:3, Urijah and Zechariah, son of Jehodiah. Then we got some minor prophets, Amos, Habakkuk, Haggai, Hosea, see Bill, Joel, Jonah, another one of my brothers, Malachi, Micah, Nahum, Obadiah, Zechariah, son of Berechiah, okay, and Zephaniah. Touch on some false prophets as well. Ahab, King Ahab, I'm sure. The Antichrist. Elimus, Hananiah from Jeremiah 28:5. Jezebel, of course. Not to be confused with the Jezebel of the Old Testament. A different one, the one from the book of Revelation 2:20. The false prophet of the book of Revelation. 16:13, 19:20, and 20:10. The false prophets of Baal, of course, that my boy Elijah took care of. Noadiah, Shemaiah, the Nehelamite, Simon Magus. Oh, it's the Magus. It's a Marvel character. And he opposed a sort of messianic figure, a Christ-like character, Adam Warlock. So Zedekiah, son of Messiah, and Zedekiah, son of Shaniah. Let's talk about a miracle. A miracle is an event that is inexplicable by natural or scientific laws and accordingly gets attributed to some supernatural or preternatural cause. Various religions often attribute a phenomenon characterized as miraculous to the actions of a supernatural being, especially a deity, a miracle worker, a saint, or a religious leader. Informally, English speakers often use the word miracle to characterize any beneficial event that is statistically unlikely but not contrary to the laws of nature, such as surviving a natural disaster or simply a wonderful occurrence, regardless of likelihood. Sometimes referred to like the miracle of childbirth. Some coincidences may be seen as miracles. A miracle worker. Thaumaturgy is the purported capability of a magician to work magic or other paranormal events or a saint to perform miracles. It is sometimes translated into English as wonder working. A practitioner of thaumaturgy is a thaumaturge, thaumaturgus, miracle worker or wonder worker. A saint being one who is variably defined as having an exceptional degree of holiness, enlightenment, or likeness or closeness to God. It may be claimed to perform miracles. These generally have been defined as exceptional events or deeds not within the normative means of natural or human power, instead being of some supernatural or preternatural manner. Preternatural is that which appears outside, beside, or beyond the natural. It is suspended between the mundane and the nature. Is an inherent character or constitution, particularly of the ecosphere or the universe as a whole. In this general sense, nature refers to the laws, elements, and phenomena of the physical world, including life. Although humans are part of nature, human activity or humans as a whole are often described as at times at odds or outright separate and even superior to nature. Never forget that humans and human beings were supposed to be God's greatest creation, created in his image. Let's go to anointed or to anoint. The smear or rub with oil typically is part of a religious ceremony. High priests were anointed with oil. Ceremonially confer divine or holy office upon a priest or monarch by smearing or rubbing with oil. Samuel anointed him king. Okay. Healing. With physical trauma or disease suffered by an organism, healing involves the repairing of damaged tissues, organs, and the biological system as a whole, and resumption of normal functioning. Medicine includes the processes by which the cells in the body regenerate and repair to the size of a damaged or necrotic area and replace it with new living tissue. So let's get to those promises and those covenants. There are several covenants in the Bible, but 5 covenants are crucial for understanding the story of the Bible and God's redemptive plan. The Noahic covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, the Mosaic covenant, the Davidic covenant, and the New Covenant. The Noahic covenant from Genesis 9. This is a covenant God establishes with Noah after the flood, in which he resets and renews the blessings of creation, reaffirming God's image in humanity and the work of dominion. This covenant promises the preservation of humanity and provides for the restraint of human evil and violence. The Abrahamic covenant. See Genesis 12 and 15. This is the most central to the biblical story. In it, God promises Abraham a land, descendants, and blessing. This blessing promised to Abraham would extend through him to all the peoples of the earth. Understanding the Abrahamic covenant is paramount to understanding theological concepts like a promised land, election, the people of God, inheritance, and so on. It provides context for understanding practices like circumcision, conflicts with surrounding nations, and divisions between Jews and Gentiles. The Mosaic covenant. See Exodus 19 and 24. This is the covenant God establishes with the people of Israel at Mount Sinai after he led them out of Egyptian slavery. With it, God supplies the law that is meant to govern and shape the people of Israel in the promised land. The law was not a means of salvation, but would distinguish the people from the surrounding nations as a special kingdom of priests. This is seen in Exodus 19, 1-7. This covenant was conditional and divine blessings and curses based on obedience or disobedience. See Deuteronomy 28 to 29. Understanding the Mosaic covenant is foundational to understanding the cycles of blessing and curse in the Old Testament. The exiles of Israel and Judah, the disputes between Jesus and the Pharisees, and Paul's pastoral teachings about law and grace. The Davidic covenant. See 2nd book of Samuel 7. This is the covenant where God promises a descendant of David to reign on the throne over the people of God. It is a continuation of the earlier covenants in that it promises a Davidic king as the figure through whom God would secure the promises of land. Jesus. Descendants and blessing. This covenant becomes the basis for hope of a Messiah and make sense of the gospel's concern to show Jesus was the rightful king of the Jews. In the new covenant, see Jeremiah 31:31 to 34. It's like almost like your thing, Bill. Luke 22:14 and 23. This is language first used in Jeremiah's promise of rescue and renewal of the exiled people of God in Babylon. It promises a coming day when God will make a new covenant, unlike the one which Israel had broken. This coming day would bring forgiveness of sin, internal renewal of the heart, and intimate knowledge of God. On the night of Jesus' Last Supper, Jesus takes the cup and declares that his death would be the inauguration of this new covenant. These 5 covenants provide the skeletal framework and context for practically every page of the Bible. They are fundamental to understanding the Bible rightly. The Old Testament covenants establish promises that look forward to fulfillment. Much of the New Testament is concerned to show how Jesus Christ fulfills these covenant promises and what life should look like for a people living in the new covenant, inaugurated by his death and resurrection. I told you Jesus was here to fulfill the law, not abolish it. All right. So, I'll tell you guys about a promise I made with Sister Carol. Then we'll get out of here for a while. I made the promise that, as long as the mission was up and running, I would be a member and be active. So, always try to fulfill your promises because you let your word be your bond. There are a lot of people today, and this includes some Christians as well, who do like to make promises as they enter into covenant agreements with others, but who are not faithful in following through with their oath to the covenants. What they are doing to themselves is spiritually dangerous. The breaking of their oaths can adversely affect the lives of others who are directly or indirectly connected with them. Oftentimes, these oath violators, oath breakers, will walk around wondering why they keep on having problems in their lives, which they cannot evidently resolve no matter how hard they try. Oaths that are taken in order to get into a covenant relationship are always in the form of spoken words. Each party to the covenant says such words in the oath to one another, with a third person present as the witness to it. This is exactly what every believer in Christ did at the moment when we invited Jesus into our lives as the Lord and Savior. Words were spoken before God and many witnesses in Hosea 14:2 and Hebrews 12:1. You entered into a covenant with God in the presence of his representatives on the earth by saying those words under oath to follow him for the rest of your life. In Isaiah 55:11, God reminds us that every word that goes forth from his mouth shall not return to him void. In other words, God doesn't make empty promises. If he has given you a word on something, you can trust him. So stand on the word he's given. After all, his word is his bond. Standing on business.